Hey, my name is Dwayne, and this is my GED Intermediate Math series. This is lesson 5 on dividing whole numbers. All right, so when we divide whole numbers, there are some vocabulary words that you should know. Let's take a look at this problem right here. All right, so this is 18 divided by 6, and we already know the answer is 3. We know the answer is 3 because if you know your multiplication facts, 3 times 6 equals 18. So 18 divided by 6 must be 3. Right? So vocab. The original number that we start with, kind of the biggest number, is is our dividend. Okay? The number that we're dividing by is called our divisor. And then our answer is called a quotient. Okay, and again, these are important to note because on the GED test, they might ask you which of the following divisors yields this quotient or whatever. And so it's your job to know that the divisor is the number we're dividing by, and the quotient is the answer to a division problem. So, cool. All right, and this is another, this is a lesson that we're not going to use calculators for. Again, to help you in that first part of the GED test where you were not able to use calculators. So today I'm going to teach you how to do long division. All right, so when we do long division, we set problems up like this. We put our dividend, and then we kind of put it in this like bracket sort of situation, and we put our divisor on the outside. Right? Now, in adding, subtracting, and multiplying whole numbers, we always go from right to left. It gets a little complicated with multiplication, but it's right to left. In division, we're actually going to go left to right. Right? So what we do is we look at this 4, and we say, okay, how many times can we put that 4 in this first number, the 2? 4 does not go into 2 nicely, meaning our answer is not a whole number. So the answer is kind of at 0. So since the first answer is 0, we're going to go ahead and ask ourselves, well, how many times could 4 go into 24? Right? That answer is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So, so now what we do, we've written our 6 up here. Your answer is always going to go above the rightmost digit that we're looking at. So if we're looking at 24, our answer has to go above that 4. And also, just so you know, people don't normally write the 0. Yeah, we don't normally write the 0. We just kind of skip that step. But all right, cool. So we have that 4 will go into 24 6 times. Now we're going to multiply the 6 times the 4 to get 24, and we're going to subtract the 24 minus the 24. Right? The reason we're doing this is to see if there's anything left over. Right? We said 4 goes into 24 6 times, but what if it doesn't go in there perfectly? What if there's 1, 2, 3 left over? Of course, 24 minus 24 is 0, so we know that there's nothing left over. Okay? Now we're going to take the next number from the original dividend, and we're going to bring it down. All right, so we're going to take that 5, we're going to bring it down, we're going to add it to the 0. So now we're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 5? Well, the answer is 1. 4 goes into 5 one time. Then we do 1 times 4. We get 4. We're going to subtract those two numbers, and we get 1. Okay? And then just like before, we're going to bring our next digit down. So that's going to be 6. So now we've got 16. How many times does 4 go into 16? Well, 4 goes into 16 4 times. All right? And then 4 times 4 is 16. We're going to subtract those, and we get 0. There is nothing else that we can bring down, right? There's nothing after that 6. So we're actually done. Our answer is 614. Awesome. So let's look at another problem. let's take a look at 1,652 divided by 6. Cool. So just like before, we're going to start with the leftmost number, 6. Or sorry, 1. So how many times does 6 go into 1? It doesn't. So let's go ahead, let's include one more digit. Let's do 16. So 6 goes into 16, I'm going to say 2 times. Right? And then 2 times 6 is 12, so we'll see what we're left over with. And the answer is 4. Awesome. So right here, I'm going to show you a trick to know whether you've done this right. Right? After you subtract, okay, let's say you're not sure how many times our divisor goes into the digits that we're talking about. Like if you're not sure how many times 6 goes into 16, is it 2, is it 3? Put an answer. Just choose one and then multiply it. Right? After you multiply it and then after you subtract it, if that answer is less than 6, like less than your divisor, then you're good. However, if your answer is negative, then that tells you this answer you picked up here is actually too big. Let me show you an example of that. What if I said, maybe 6 goes into 16 3 times? 6 times 3 is 18. Okay? And then 16 minus 18 is negative 2. We can't really work with that. Not here, not when we're doing long division. So that tells you that 3 is incorrect. You chose a number that was too big, and so we got to do 2. Oops. Okay, so that's a little trick to keep you on track. Right? So now we're going to bring down our 5. And now we got 45. How many times does 6 go into 45? Let me guess. 7, is it? I think it's 7. 7 times 6 is 42. And then we're left with 3. 3 is less than 6, but bigger than 0, so we are good. All right? And then next, we're going to bring down our 2. How many times does 6 go into 32? I think 5 times, because I know 6 times 5 is 30. So put our 30 here, subtract, and we're left with 2. Okay, now there's nothing else for us to bring down. So we stop here. There's no more division we can do. However, we are left with 2 left over. All right, so sometimes, actually a lot of the time, your divisor doesn't go perfectly into your dividend. And so we're left with what's called a remainder. So this right here is your remainder, and the way that we kind of include that in the answer is we write r and then the remainder 2. So our complete answer is 275 r2. So like that. That's going to be our answer. All right, and that just means that 6 goes into 1,652 275 times, but there's 2 left over. So it's not a perfect match, and that's okay. Cool. All right, let's take a look at a new problem. Now, sometimes you're going to see some problems that that ask you to use a divisor that has multiple digits. So for example, what's 2,385 divided by 15? Okay, well, actually, we treat this exactly the same, right? We're going to first say, okay, how many times does 15 go into 2? It doesn't. So how many times does 15 go into 23? 1. 1 times 15 is 15. 23 minus 15 is 8. Cool. So let me check really quick. 8 is bigger than 0, but less than 15, so we are good, right? Bring down that 8. And now we've got 88. How many times does 15 go into 88? Let's see. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. So 5 times. All right, so 15 times 5 is 75. 88 minus 75 is 13. And then we're going to bring down the 5. Cool. And then how many times does 15 go into 135? Let's see. 10 times 15 is 150. So that means 9 times 15 is 135. So it's going to be, we'll put a 9 up here. And then multiply it out. 135, we'll subtract, and we get 0. There's nothing left for us to bring down, so this is our answer. But there's nothing left for us to bring down, and we don't have a remainder, so our answer is 159. Cool. So that's how you divide when the divisor has 2 digits. Okay. There's one more example I want to show you, and it is 8,164 divided by 4. Okay, so let's get to it. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. Okay, and then we're going to bring down the 1. So now we got how many times does 4 go into 1? So you might be tempted to say, oh, 4 doesn't go into 1, so we just don't put anything. We just keep going on. But we can only do that for that first digit, right? If 4 doesn't go into that first digit, then we include the second digit. But here we can't do that. So here we're going to write 0 as the answer. 0 times 4 is 0. So 1 minus 0 is still 1. So now we bring down the 6. And we got 16. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. And then we bring down the 4. Cool. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract, and 0. So we got nothing left to bring down, and we don't have a remainder, so our answer is 2,041. And I can add a little comment in here if I want to make it a little easier to read. Cool. So, so that is how you do long division. So in class we did the independent practice, and then we did the lesson review, as well as I think I handed out a worksheet as well. So if you have any questions about long division, let me know. I can assign you an IXL lesson. But otherwise, thanks for watching.